welcome. Welcome again to our Good News Review. We're looking this month at the November edition, and it's Remembrance Sunday this month, so we'll be talking a bit about that in a few moments. But I'm here with my friend Mark Perkins. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, Colin. I was really impressed by an article in the middle of the Good Newspaper entitled Uncovering the Evidence. Now, this man that this article is about was an atheist. He was skeptical. He would argue, he would debate, and he was actually impressed by the fact that Christians would listen to him, would defend themselves. And this led him to just pursue going to church. It was his time in church that convinced him that this Jesus Christ that he kept hearing about was actually a real figure. And he thought that he wanted this Jesus who could forgive his past and give him a purpose for his future. He invited Jesus into his life. This is something that we all can do. And one reason this professor did that is what he discovered over time. He is still an academic. But what he does now is he sees that his love of history and his love of archaeology is not in competition with the Bible. Many people think, for example, that science is in competition with the Bible. But he sees that history and archaeology actually enhances and confirms the biblical truth. I like that, Colin. I like the fact that here's a man who declares that there is outside evidence that confirms the Bible, evidence that we live every day. We all live in a historical world. We all read about archaeology discoveries. These discoveries actually enhance and support the Bible. I think that's great. Also, this article has a QR code that anybody can look at a video that this man has produced. And you can see him in action and see some of the reasons, at least, that he gives why he thinks that history and archaeology support the Bible. So I think that's a great article. And there's a little bit of further research that people can do also. Over to you, Colin.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, it is so important to know that Christianity is not just something made up. It's based on historical evidence of Jesus, but also the whole Bible has got so many evidence support for it from archaeology over the years, and it's fantastic to see that. It really gives you encouragement that we're believing the right thing. The story I want to look at is to do with Remembrance Day. It's on the second page 6 actually of the Good Newspaper, and it talks about it's looking at the Royal British Legion, which hosts the Festival of Remembrance at the Royal Albert Hall, and this is to honour those who've given their lives in service of their country. This festival first took place in 1923. I didn't know that. And the first festival was advertised as a festival of faith, not of victory. And it's the Christian faith still at the heart of this festival that does make it so moving. Because, when we think of wars, we think of all the destruction, where do we find hope? And this article talks about that where can we find hope that this festival offers? And it says here, we remember the dead and those who died for us is right and proper. But if there's no life beyond the grave, then war and its consequences and life itself become far grimmer. Without hope of another life to come, what hope is there? That's the sort of question that is raised here. And also the article talks about how we remember what happened during the Second World War, for instance, and the fact that Britain and the Allies triumphed over evil in both the wars actually is no small part, the article says, no small part to the faith that gave courage and the intervention of God after national days of prayer. And there were 2 national days of prayer in the Second World War. After one, there was the Dunkirk happened, and that were able to amazingly bring many troops back from the beaches, in France. And the second, after the second National Day of Prayer, that immediately came before the Battle of Britain, and again against all the odds, the RAF won in the air. That's amazing. So God does answer prayer, and He is there. And that can give us great hope and faith. In fact, I was talking to a lady today down at the market where I live, and she was saying that without faith, she wouldn't have got through some of the really difficult things, health-wise and bereavements in her life. So you too can find faith will help you if you just trust in Jesus. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, Colin. That's very true. There really is hope in Jesus Christ. I happened to meet an atheist today on the doors. I offered him the Good News paper, and he accepted. And that's encouraging to me. And let that be an encouragement to you who are watching this video. You may be skeptical. You may be atheistic. You may think there's nothing to this God thing, or you may be curious and have questions. One good thing about the Good News paper is that it approaches God from different angles. And there probably is an article that you can read that will be very attractive to you, that will raise your curiosity level, at least, to seek further. So details of how you may obtain a copy of the Good News paper will follow at the end of the video. And we encourage you, like this atheist this morning, no matter where you are on the belief scale, have a look. I think you'll be encouraged and glad you did. Over to you, Colin.
Thanks, Mark, and thank you all for watching. I hope to see you again next month. Thank you.